Since my birthday is right around the corner, I thought I would share my thoughts on what it's like celebrating birthdays as an autistic person. I actually really like to celebrate my birthday, but the way I celebrate it has definitely changed throughout the years, especially in the last couple. Growing up, my mom always tried to make us feel special on our birthdays, and for me, it usually involved inviting a group of girls, going bowling or going roller skating, and just having a bunch of people over, opening presents, having cake, and things like that. Growing up, we moved a lot, and I started a new school almost every single year up until the fifth grade. So making friends was kind of difficult. So for my birthday, my mom usually invited the whole class of girls to come and celebrate with me. Because of how we celebrated growing up, inviting all these people over, and because I masked very heavily in my childhood and teens and through adulthood, I thought you had to invite all your friends and classmates over in order for your birthday to be successful. It never occurred to me until my early 30s that you didn't need to invite everyone you knew to celebrate your birthday in order to have a fulfilling day. You could just celebrate with your immediate family and closest friends, um, and still feel loved and valued. Even going into college and into my early and late 20s, I still thought you had to invite um, your friends, coworkers, classmates over and celebrate your birthday surrounded by people. I think I felt the more people I invited to my birthdays, the more fulfilled I would feel, and felt like I had friends and that I was fitting in. But I was heavily masking at the time, and usually I would feel very alone and that I really didn't know these people, and I still just I didn't feel the validation and love that I was looking for. But it didn't occur to me that the less people you invite and being more selective with who you invite, that's what would actually bring me happiness. For me, going into college was really hard. I felt like I just didn't fit in with the girls in our dorm room and the girls like in my classes, and I just always felt like the weird kid and the oddball. So when I finally hit 21, I really tried to mask and fit in with these people that I was trying to be friends with. And so I would invite them out, and I just hoping it would hoping it would I would feel the validation I was looking for. But I usually didn't get that. It was usually just I was just hoping that it would make me feel less of a weird kid and that I was actually normal and just like everyone else. But I usually, after like the following day or like after a while, it still felt like something was missing. And I also had this tendency not to just invite like my friends and family, but it was like friends of friends or coworkers or my husband's coworkers and his friends. It was like every single person that we knew, I felt like I had to invite them. I think I felt guilty leaving people out, and so it was like I just kept inviting more and more people, and hoping that would bring joy to me. And sometimes it did, but usually it just left me feeling like something was missing. I realized that a lot of the people that would come to these events were super random, and don't I'm not in contact with probably 90% of them at this point, so it's not like they were lifelong friends. Um, and I just realized that all these big celebrations are like the least memorable birthdays that I've ever had. After college, going into my early 20s, not only was I inviting all these people to celebrate my birthday, but I was also throwing themed parties, which kind of became one of my special interests. And I would go all out on these things. I would have like meticulous food and decor that were always on theme, and I felt like the whole house had to be decorated. Everything had to be clean and spotless and perfect, and I put a lot of pressure up on myself, and it usually gave me such bad anxiety doing these things, and not just like the week of or the night before, like for almost a year. Whenever I decided that I was going to do this, I would just like stress over every single thing. It would be the only thing I'd think of during the whole day. It would be the only thing I would think of at night. And so I wouldn't sleep. I would just have like knots in my stomach, trying to make these perfect parties and just, and then trying to figure out when to buy these things, how much it's going to cost me, because I was super budget conscious, and just I went way overboard, and it just always felt, at the time I didn't realize how much stress I was causing myself, but now looking back, I just don't know why I did that to myself. Then during the parties, I would just worry the whole time that the guests would be not having a good time or not understanding all the pieces that I put together for the theme, and wouldn't see all the details. And I would just stress the whole time that their their good or bad time was because of me, and maybe like I didn't do enough of a good job planning this, that they would have a good time. I was definitely sort of a people pleaser, even though I didn't really know it. And I would also have unrealistic expectations of how the party would proceed, as far as like everyone would show up and just they would all get along and laugh and just have a great time. And I would just like create these fantasies of my head of exactly how a perfect party would go, and I would just end up disappointed because it wasn't anything like that in real life. um, and I always felt like I could have done better, like I could have done more for the theme. I could have done more to make people feel engaged, instead of like sitting on the couch or and just talking to the one person they know. Um, so I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it was really hard for me. And again, these big parties are not the ones that I consider both the most special or the most memorable at this point. Some of my favorite birthdays have just been celebrating with my close family members, or with just a couple friends, or just my husband. When I turned 27, I actually got to spend it with my grandparents. My grandpa's birthday is actually the day before mine. And so I don't think at that point we had ever spent our birthdays together. So that was really special to celebrate his and then mine the next day. And so my mom and I just put up simple decorations. I think we went to a Mexican restaurant, um, and that was about it. But it was like one of the most memorable and special birthdays that I have. And then another one of my favorite birthdays, when I turned 32, um, my husband and two best friends, we went out to dinner, and we had been planning to go to this one restaurant for like a week, and I almost tried switching it at the very last minute. But for some reason, my husband was like very adamant that we were going to the first restaurant that I picked, and I was getting flustered. And had our friends not been in the car, I think I would have had a meltdown in the car, because I was feeling unheard and like, this is my birthday, I should get to choose. But he ended up, but I'm glad we ended up going to the original restaurant that I picked, because the reason why he wanted us to go is he had been planning a surprise and having the donut shop next door deliver 32 German chocolate donuts to the restaurant where we were for my 32nd birthday, um, which was way over the top. No one needs 32 donuts, but it was really special that he planned that all in advance. And he really didn't want us to cancel, because then he wasn't sure how the donuts would get delivered to wherever we went, since where we were was next door to the donut shop. So that was really fun. um, I think he's also very clever with how he wraps his packages. And I think that same year he got me some yoga equipment that I had asked for, but he had wrapped it in such a way that it was shaped like a rocket. And it was ridiculous, but I think that's probably the most memorable gift I received, just because it was so like so unexpected. As I get older and the more I unmask and find out what I truly like and who I truly am, the more I realize that a simple, quiet birthday is all I really need. Um, I don't I don't need to spend it with a ton of people. I don't need to go anywhere fancy. I just am really grateful for the family and friends that I have, and that has been enough for me. And I'm really enjoying the simpleness of life. Just, it's not stressful. It's um, it's complete opposite of what I felt in my college years and 20s. This year, as of now, we don't have anything special planned. I'm sure we'll end up doing something for my birthday, but even if we just stay home in our pajamas all day and just watch movies, that'll be perfect. So that is my experience of different ways I've celebrated my birthdays through the years. But now I want to talk to you guys about some of the struggles I face being autistic and the way our society celebrates birthdays with other people. For example, people get really excited to acknowledge your birthday and say happy birthday to you, which is really nice and very sweet that people want to do that. But for me, and probably a lot of autistic people, I don't want that attention on me. And it makes me super uncomfortable. I just, some days I just want to pretend like it's any other day. Like, it's super sweet. Family members will want to call me on the phone and wish me happy birthday. But being on the phone gives me such bad anxiety. Even if I really like the person, I have a really hard time talking to people on the phone. And I feel like people expect you to be happy and excited for your birthday. And I'm not always that. Sometimes I'm having a really hard day, or sometimes, I think I've mentioned this before, I have a very monotone voice and demeanor. And if I don't show excitement, they kind of like it's not what they wanted from the experience. And so then I feel like I have to mask and pretend like I'm super happy for my birthday and thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And I don't want to do that. Like I just I want to be able to express how I'm feeling. The place I really struggle with this is people who call on the phone, but also at work. I feel like there's a lot of pressure, especially at the places I've worked, that like your birthday's going to be acknowledged no matter what. And like where I currently work, they do, like, it is super sweet and it's very nice to make people feel appreciated on their birthday. Like, that's great. But if you are one of those people who doesn't like celebrating your birthday, I feel like your supervisor or whoever's in charge should ask if it's okay if they celebrate your birthday, decorate your desk for your birthday, get a cake for your birthday, sing you happy birthday. Like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to do these things to make that person feel special. But if that person, me, doesn't want it, then they get offended. Like, and then it becomes about them. Um, and I really, I don't like people singing happy birthday to me because it's usually people that I don't normally associate with. And then it's like, sing happy birthday, go get cake, and then I never talk to him again. So it kind of feels superficial. And I don't want to make eye contact with all these people. Like, a birthday card, that's all I need. Just birthday card. You don't have to decorate my desk. You don't have to bring me a cake. We don't have to sing happy birthday, but I feel like a lot of people get offended if you don't want to do those things. The other area that I really struggle with birthdays and celebrating with people is receiving gifts and opening them in front of them or in front of anyone because, like I said, I have a very monotone expression and I don't like surprises. Even if it's a good surprise, I don't like them. And my facial expressions usually look like I'm disappointed. Um, I do like getting gifts. I just don't like opening in front of people because I have a lot of thoughts running through my head. And I just, I also don't know how to process like what I got, what the correct reaction is. Am I reacting too much or too little? Usually it's too little because I'm still processing, like, oh, I wonder what prompted them to get me this gift. Is there meaning behind it? Like, what was going through their head? And so usually my response is like um very flat, and people take that as like I'm disappointed or upset by the gift when I'm really just like still thinking about it. Even when I am excited about gifts, I usually don't show it very well. Um A good example of this is when I turned 16, we were shopping for used cars since I was getting my driver's license, and I really, really liked this. It was a white Chrysler LeBaron with a convertible top, and it was a convertible top that I really liked. So I thought that was the car I was getting, when but on my birthday, we had my friends over and family that lived in town. We went outside, and the car I got was covered in a sheet. So when I pulled the sheet, I was expecting that Chrysler LeBaron that I thought I was getting because I really liked it, and instead it was this little white Mazda hatchback. Really cute car, really like fun, similar to what I was looking for, but because it was not what I was expecting, my response was, huh, it's a Mazda. And my friends still won't let me live that down. They still laugh and joke that that's my response. And even my husband, who I didn't know at the time and wasn't there, he's caught on to that joke and he'll joke about that too. But like, I just, I have a lot of thoughts going on and I just don't know how to process information on the spot in front of people. And so usually my reaction is less than what that person is expecting. And I think they get disappointed by it. So I really don't envy anyone who gives me gifts, because I just, I'm sorry if my reaction is not what you are looking for or expecting, but that's just the way it is. It doesn't mean I don't like the gift, it just means I need to take time and think about it. My facial expressions while opening gifts or enjoying birthdays is also like very flat. Like I've said, a great example of this is when I was 5. I had a Garfield themed birthday. The cake was Garfield, and then I think I got either a Garfield sleeping bag or like a tent. And I really liked it. But looking at the pictures, you would think that I'm having a miserable time and that this is like the worst thing ever. But I actually really liked it. In relation to this, one other thing I was thinking about is people have gotten upset with me because they think I'm ungrateful or really rude if I don't say thank you right away, which again, I need a lot of time to process things. And um, I'm usually trying to think about the like how to say thank you rather than just saying, oh, thank you, I really loved it. Because to me, that's just like a genuine, bland response. For me, I feel like when I really like a gift or like I can really see the thought that went into it, I get really emotional, but I have a really hard time taking those emotions that are very clear in my head and transferring them into words. So it takes me a really long time to say how to say thank you in a way that like really um, that really represents how truly thankful I am, and to say it in a very genuine way instead of just like a bland thank you, I loved it so much. Because that to me, it's like it's I don't like saying that. It doesn't feel natural to me, just like just giving that. So if I don't say thank you fast enough, people get upset with me. A good example of people thinking I'm ungrateful when they've given me a gift is when I was working retail. The original owner sold to someone else, and during that transition, as she was leaving, she gave all of, I don't know if she gave everyone in the office or maybe just the managers like a bonus, a substantial bonus, especially for a small business at the time. Um, and it was really nice. Like I was not expecting it. I was like very thankful. Um, but I was really trying to, I think either the next day or like over the weekend, I was trying to figure out how I was going to say thank you to her that was meaningful. And I still hadn't figured that out by the time I got to work. And I was there and said good morning to her. I didn't say thank you yet because I was still like working my way up to that. And the other manager came in and she's very bubbly. I really like this person. And she was just like, thank you so much. That was so nice of you. And just like over the top, just like so excited, and it was great. Like, that was her natural reaction. Um, and the other reason I hadn't said anything yet is I didn't know if everyone had gotten a bonus or not, so I didn't want to say it in front of other people and maybe they didn't get one, and like I just said something that was like, you know, um, gonna hurt their feelings. So I was trying to say thank you in private, but hadn't had the opportunity yet. And so the owner approached me and she's like, I just want you to know it's really rude that you haven't said thank you. And I was just like, I was shocked because like it hadn't even been maybe a couple hours since I saw her. And it was just like, I hadn't said it fast enough. So when she said that, I was just like, okay, I am very thankful. And I'm trying to work. I didn't know what to say. And I was just like mortified. And I was also angry with her because that was like really rude. But she was really rude in general. And um, yeah, more on that in a different video when I talk about different places I've worked. But anyways, like she's not the only one that's done that to me where it's like if I don't say it fast enough, they get upset. But that was probably the most memorable one. And I definitely do not enjoy surprises, even good surprises. I don't, like I said, I don't know how to react. And it takes me a really long time to like comprehend what's going on and like how I really feel about it. So my husband knows this. He's known this probably since like as long as he's known me. But he'll just ask me, do you want to know what you're getting for your birthday or do you want it to be a surprise? And I'll tell him. Usually I do want to know in advance, like, because he likes to plan elaborate um, outings or like elaborate gifts. And I'll just tell him, like, oh, that's kind of too much. Like, just scale it back. Or, like, I'm uncomfortable going to that place. Maybe we could do this instead. So it's really great that he doesn't get offended by that. He knows that um, that's what I prefer, and I really appreciate that. It definitely helps take the anxiety out of things. Um, yeah. So, anyways, those are my thoughts on past and present birthday celebrations. I'm looking forward to my birthday this year. It's not going to be anything special as far as like we're not going anywhere since Charlotte still isn't, I mean, since Charlotte still has all of her health issues going on, it's probably going to be pretty quiet and we're going to go at her pace. But yeah, as long as we're together and um, just as long as we're together, it's going to be a good birthday. I hope this video has been helpful for you, whether you are autistic and have experienced similar things, or you have someone autistic in your life. I hope this shows that just because we don't usually express our emotions the way typical people do doesn't mean we're not appreciative. And yeah, it's definitely everyone's different. Everyone likes to celebrate differently. This was just my experience and how I've gone through the years of what has been important to me. I think I'm really, um, I think I'm really reaching an era of just really appreciating the the small things in life and being content with close friends and family. So, anyways, I hope you have a great day and I hope you enjoyed this video.